Open Space Committee meeting to order, and the time is 1:05. The date is, let's see, April 5th, 2022. And we are being videoed. All right. First up, has everybody read the minutes from the last meeting? Any changes or anything? Anyone noted? I'm zipping through.
Entertain a motion?
Yeah, I think she's still reading.
Oh, all right.
Did you go to the Conservation Commission last night?
Yes. After 2.5 hours on those seats, they're very uncomfortable.
Yeah, bottom of the barrel.
Good chairs.
Yeah.
I was going to call it and I forgot.
Okay.
I move that we accept the minutes of March 15, 20, sorry, that's 2022, not, okay. Yep.
Oh,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute, second.
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 All in favor? Aye.
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 And we accept it. Okay, next, Danny.
Survey. So I got the edits from yesterday. Those aren't incorporated into this draft. I got them right after I printed them all off, so those will get in there. But I printed this off just in case folks had trouble accessing the OneDrive. So all those will get in there. I'll add the email. And then we can definitely add some more horseback riding or trail-specific questions. We can add anything in there, so we don't feel like it's redundant or anything. If you feel like...
Okay, so I can just email you with?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Some of the stuff I said you put in, some didn't, so I'll email you with.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, anything we can add, don't feel like, if you think the residents here will respond to that or are looking for those types of questions, let's get those in there. We don't need to have a limit to questions. The shorter we keep it, the more likely folks will respond to it. So if you feel like some questions aren't necessarily needed and we could take those out and add some more specific ones, that's great too. Are there any other edits right now, or do you guys want to take some time to look it over? And
Did you get mine?
No. What?
I sent you some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, I got those ones.
Okay, good.
Those aren't in there.
Right.
After,
I figured.
Yeah, I'll just email.
literally right after I.
I was going to save them for today, but then when I saw you sent some, I'm like, okay, I'll send mine too.
Yeah, I'll just email you mine, so
Perfect.
to incorporate it,
Yep.
the ones that we already suggested.
It is open now. I needed to open it to create a link to it, but we don't have to send it out yet. We can take our time with that. And then town meeting is in May.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just curious, like why we ask about, do you get easily confused or that one? Is that,
Which page is that on?
I forget.
That's number 14.
Page.
Question 14. Do you have difficulty with?
Oh, okay, so yes. So that is really targeted towards if there are any disabled persons. We want to make sure that our open space and recreational programs are accessible. So that's why we throw that in. We don't need to include that. In any of the demographic questions, we don't need to include. Some of them we'd like to include just to see who's answering the survey. But that's just one that I've sort of a cookie cutter that I throw into some of them.
Yeah,
So
no, I was just curious, like,
Yeah.
did we think people would really say, yeah, I'm confused all the time?
How old are you? Yeah.
That's more just trying to gauge where our accessibility needs might be.
Yeah. Also on number 13. No, I'm sorry. What is this one? Oh. No, I'm sorry, number 9, I think it is actually. The question, number 9, after Frisbee Golf Course, I don't see the applicability of biggest unmet recreation need as motocross and ATV paths, because I don't really see that as recreation.
Okay.
And there's no place that's allowed here anyways.
No.
Okay.
It's not allowed on any of the state forest properties or the town properties, so.
Yeah, I just don't think it wise to put it there. And did you understand my rationale that we should ask people how they use it before we ask them if they're going to? So just flip the order, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I was just concerned about saying, we say, are you happy with the amount/condition? To me, that's two different things. Like, I could think there's a lot of trails in Douglas, but think they're in crappy shape. Or, so it'd be hard to tease that out if somebody just answers yes or no, you know, like agrees, strong. I just figured,
Yeah.
do you think there's enough? Do you think they're in okay condition? Because I might say no to that and yes to the other, or vice versa, you know?
I think what I'll do is take that question and split it up into two different
Yeah.
questions, just because if it'd be a really long matrix
Right.
to get through. But I think that's a good point.
Is this the landlocked?
Yeah, or some way to say, just to address maintenance.
Upkeep of parklands, that's kind of 9.
Yeah.
You want to explain this and get out of here, or what?
Oh, whatever agenda item you guys are on.
Yeah,
We can pause.
Where's Northwest Green compared to this?
So this was a print off of a screenshot. One of the things I want to point out is the town, I put in for a budget for updated software that may or may not get for town meeting. But then I can give much better information than these screenshots. Northwest Main is off the side.
Right here.
Side here. Okay. You see there's a trail that kind of leads through this property. It's not a road or anything. It's just
The white.
a path.
That goes to the pipeline.
It ends on the parcel to the left, is actually by the state.
9.1?
Yes.
And that's the
DCR.
pipeline, right?
Yes, yep.
So the Smiths don't get access to their property because one of those parcels along that trail in Northwest Maine is owned by a butter who does not want access to cross their land. Whether they're using it for any sort of recreational purposes, hunting, logging, or whatever, they're no longer able to get there. So there's no easements or anything, so it's complicated. Usually it's simplified. So they're looking for this as a donation to the town, also just for preservation. No other purpose. I guess that's what came up with the Concom last night.
Yeah, they just made the comment that there's no wetlands on it and not sure we're interested in it because it's a landlocked, and said maybe follow up with DCR, but you can access it from DCR property, so, okay, it dead end that and make a loop around or something on the trail. There's possibilities from this end of it, so.
Did they say whether they had approached DCR about it?
I recommended it. They hadn't said one way or the other yet.
Yeah.
I talked to this woman a while back. Weeks ago. She's living in Florida, or was in Florida. Just kind of gave her the options.
Yep.
I wasn't sure what she was going to pursue. Just mentioned it, so I
Yes.
mentioned what the Concom was. So, exploring all options. I mentioned the state. Maybe they want to grab it since it'll bust one of theirs.
Yeah, they would be more likely to be.
Yep. Alrighty, you can always contact DCR and let them know about it too, from the other end. Alrighty.
What about the subdivision?
So I mentioned at the last planning board meeting that, and I gave the image, I don't know if you gave me. Thank you. I provided that to the board at their meeting on, their last meeting in March. It's more of an FYI. We didn't really weigh in on it yet. The project's so early on in its review stage right now, but it was introduced publicly as a recommendation from this committee for consideration. There were some comments made about parking is the first question that they had. I guess conservation had to revisit 1.2 because the chair of the planning board also being the chair of conservation was familiar with this, at least this concept, possibly back in Preservation Park days and whatnot. But the prime issue being access and parking and being able to access those trails from
Well,
those.
there's the Mumford's Road site across from access.
This may be something that comes up again, but I did introduce it to them, and it's up to them as to where they go with it. So I appreciate you guys providing that, for sure. So now it's on their table.
Maybe follow up on the ground, walking through the woods, just to see what it looks like, and I'd like to see what the Mumford side looks like too, the Douglas side on the other side of the Mumford Road, just for some thoughts and ideas. But further down the road, if it's something to pursue, would we have to send an official letter to somebody from open space? Yep.
Excuse me, egress and ingress of this trail would be on, one was on Conservation Drive, the other one was on Mumford Road.
Yep.
Those are both parts that have been pitched to the board as part of the donation to the town to get their subdivision approved. It's 55 acres to be transferred to the town as protected open space. So that does transpire. We could obviously continue to pursue to put a trail network on that. I believe, though, the intent for this was to try to tie a trail network into the residential subdivision also. That goes up towards Duval Road, because one of the lines did that. I don't think that's going to be working.
Okay, well, keep it all in Douglas, I'm okay with that. But I would just like to see it be part of the conditions that instead of them just throwing, say, here's your open space, to put some investment in it for the community.
Sure. It could be asked. The developers don't necessarily have to, but you can certainly ask.
Yep.
It's similar to like the playground that was requested for the North Street development and things like that.
Oh, sure. The 40B. Right. Sure.
Okay.
But we would request that it be part of the order of conditions. Right?
Certainly, yeah.
Is that what you're?
Up to the board whether or not they want to add it, but it's a good question.
Some follow up with on the ground walking it just to see. I mean, I gave you a conceptual plan.
Yep, I give that to them.
On the ground might be a whole different ballgame. So, okay.
Do you want to walk it sometime?
Yes, I do.
I think we need to get permission from the walk.
Yeah, you would. They currently own it now.
Okay.
So put in a request.
I would appreciate that.
I don't know where we would park. So we park in the street.
And park in the parking lot. And bring our
park on the street.
sides.
I'll ask.
Okay.
I mean, the Conservation Drive is just a residential street with, probably no one parking and not a whole lot of traffic. So that's parking along the street that's paid for by the town.
Okay.
We can meet one at one end and we'll meet in the middle.
Definitely need boots.
Okay.
Did you want to discuss anything else?
That's good.
Did you want to discuss anything on the 6-1A?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. If you do get to it, if you want to ask for more information or request it of the board, that could be a good motion as well. Because all we have is what we have right now, so.
But
If the committee's not comfortable making a recommendation at this time, and they need more information, you could just make a motion like that.
But could you give Sue a copy of that letter so we have it for the record? Because for some reason,
Got it right.
oh, you've got the letter? Okay. Yeah, as long as it's here somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, you can make it. Do you have to run it through or just put it flat? If you're going to run it through, you have to take the staple out.
Yeah. I'll wait for that.
Great.
All right.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay. We diverged.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the survey. Any other comments, suggestions, areas that we missed in the survey, like the horseback riding trails?
Okay, are you doing the updates on it now?
No, I'm not doing it. I'm just writing them all down.
Okay, if you're going to do that now, instead of me emailing it to you,
Sure, if you want to.
unless you want to wait to emails to save time for everybody.
It
No,
doesn't
you
matter,
can-
that way we could discuss it here.
Yeah, some of these are ones I had gone over last time anyways, so it's question number 1. The next to the last one, to link existing conservation land together to increase landscape connectivity, habitat space, trails, and the ecological value of our open space. You don't have anything in here to,
I added trails under it.
to link existing trails together to
Yeah,
increase.
the question above it's really geared towards like wildlife habitat, not so much as trails. So I felt it
Okay.
would work better to highlight that on its own.
All right, so I saw that, but it looked like it was a whole total different thing where you says to increase and improve the walkability of the town.
I mean, we can take out
Not
that.
sure if I like the word walkability.
Okay.
Well,
Something more inclusive?
like it's sidewalks and just a little, doesn't need to be just in the woods. There's a lot of.
Yeah, but it says to link existing trails together.
Yeah,
I think just together, period.
yeah.
Okay.
Just cut the rest of that.
Yeah,
Or to link existing trails together throughout town.
Okay.
Because to your point, it's not all walkability, right?
correct. Just trying to be inclusive here. So you put the CPA in, we talked about that, that was good.
Yeah, does that make sense the way it's laid out? Do you think
The CPA
folks-
question, number 4, I was happy with
folks
it.
would understand that?
Where are you?
Question number 4, page 4.
No, that's fine.
Yep.
I thought there was another,
Proponent to it?
yeah, I thought they added something, like in the last year or so,
Okay.
for trails maybe, I think it's,
Oh, I haven't looked at it, so would that be, I thought it was like inclusive in the recreation needs.
no, but the CPA added another application that I think
Oh.
includes
Yeah.
trails or greenways or something like that. So we just have to check on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, as long as it's moved down towards, these are tools that we can use, right? Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this would be question 6, the new 6. You've got 2 questions. One, expanding connections for walking, sidewalks connecting trails, and expanding connections for biking, off-road paths, on-road lanes, and rail trails. Can we maybe morph that together in one question? Expanding connections for passive recreational use?
Okay.
So that would include your hiking, your biking, your cross-country skiing, and horseback
Dog
riding,
walking,
bird watching, whatever.
What was the word? Expanding
Passive.
connections for
passive
Passive
recreation.
recreation.
recreational use, yep. Then you can put in parentheses, connecting trails, sidewalks, et cetera.
Okay.
Of course. You'll have to change, so if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, you had 11 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, I'll update that.
Of course, I will make it 10. You're good. And question, it would be now question 7. We had talked about putting recreational trails in here someplace, protection of, or just recreational trails. What do you consider to be the biggest unmet open space needs in Douglas? So yeah, another category.
So I had added that to unmet recreation needs, trying to differentiate between like open space or conservation areas versus
Oh,
passive
recreation, open
recreation.
space, okay. Got you there on that. Glad, okay.
But I can add that.
Nope, that's fine. I see the categories you're doing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I missed that too, but
That way it wouldn't,
Yep,
like we'd get
Open
the unmet
space, yep.
needs for both categories and
Yep.
not be favored, you know.
yep. I see you, I see the light. I see what you're trying to do here. And number, I guess it would be 12 now. How often you go to a park or other open space in Douglas to utilize hiking, biking, cross-country ski trails? Can you please put in horseback riding?
I did.
You did.
Hiking, biking, horseback riding.
Oh, yes, I have a note
horse
here, in. Sorry. Forgot my own notes.
crossing.
I'm going between the old one and the new one. That's it, I'm done.
Number 9 has a skate park, which there is a little one in town.
I don't even know if it's you, but I know.
Oh, so take that one out?
Well, you know, there is one. It's not very used very often, I don't think. There's no tennis courts either, but lighted artificial turf field.
Somebody might want one.
Right.
Oh, is this, do you use it?
Yeah, it says, what the biggest
Unmet.
unmet, yeah, so.
Yep, gotcha.
Any other suggestions right now? And if not, feel free to email me additional stuff. All right, so if there's no other questions on the survey itself,
Okay.
figured we can move on to outreach for it. So I put together a flyer, and I printed off 20 copies of it. I didn't want to print off too many in case there were any changes to it. And not to waste too much paper, but these will work. Grab some. So those are yours to keep. You can put them up wherever if you feel like you like the design of it. And there is a copy in the OneDrive, which hopefully you have access to. But it just sort of explains sort of what we're doing a little bit, and then, describes that we want folks' input on open space and recreation needs in the town. There's a link to the survey, which if you, say, post it on the website or social media, you can click on the link, it'll take you right to the survey. And then there's a QR code as well that you can scan. So if you post it up at the town hall or somewhere else, hopefully folks can scan it on their phone and it'll pop right up.
Right.
So I just think we should make a list of where we want.
I added a horse and I added a tree.
Okay, yeah, we can
I
add
added a tree
add
with
the
open
open
space.
space. I didn't know how much.
Actually, with it being that big,
Yeah.
There's a lot more.
Could put a dog over here lifting their leg on a tree.
Oh, wait a minute, we got the tree over here. We can add the dog to the
Just
tree.
any dog.
Yeah, so if you scan the code, it works.
Great.
I still need to update the survey with our like close dates, so that's still
Right.
a little bit in a draft form, and obviously, with all the changes as well. But, so it'll pull up,
It's nice, I like it.
It'll update, so we don't have to change the link or anything.
Right.
It'll update on its own.
You draw that yourself?
Yes.
Any other images that we want to throw on there?
No, I just, the horse and the tree.
Horse and
The
tree.
the tree to do the open, I tried to field, I'm like, you can't do a field too terribly much. Well, so I figured the tree for the open space.
How many did you give us?
Maybe
Sorry.
a dog.
There's 20 there. I could print off more. I just didn't want to, in case there
Yeah,
was
there are
any
a
other
lot of
changes.
people that
A lot
walk
of
their
people
dogs in
walking
town.
dogs, too, so you could put
Dogs?
a dog.
Well, that's, they know.
I'll see what I can squeeze in.
Those people are already out there.
That's true, that's true.
Any?
Nice job.
Thank you. Any other suggestions or edits for that aside from the additional images? Feel like it's clear enough?
It's nice and
Yeah.
it's big.
Okay.
Certain words bounce out at you that you need.
All right, yeah, so I'll add those and then I can print some off and I can drop them off here.
We could just use those too, Becky
yeah.
can take 20
Oh,
and
yeah.
sketch horses on them.
I'm okay with
Got
that.
your Crayolas, Becky.
I got them next present. All right, flyers.
You can get stickers.
So when would it, I'm just trying to, so we have 20, we have to figure out locations, and then when would it be, or can you let us know when the link is live so that, because we don't want people going and then.
Right, it's like a half-time
Yeah.
survey, yep. Yeah, so I will work on that this week. I'll let you know, I'll send an updated flyer with the new images, let you know that it's ready to go. And then we'll start posting that around. Specific places, maybe want to talk about that, outreach locations. I think I mentioned before, in some other towns, folks have sent the flyer to the schools, and the schools allowed some times for the kids to fill out the survey. It's a good way to get some
Oh, yeah.
youth opinion to it,
Right.
because they're not, they don't often answer these surveys, so that was a helpful way to get them to answer it. Any, at the library, posting a flyer, obviously the town hall.
I've done a lot of blood drive flyers and stuff, so I can,
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, so, if we don't need to necessarily go through right now, but if you want to let me know where you post it, that way I can put it into the final plan.
Pizza places.
pizza, gas.
Pizza, yeah, any
Convenience,
grocery
liquor
stores.
stores, banks, library, town hall.
What about,
senior center.
Well, definitely the bank.
I'm trying to think, the kiosks.
At the lake?
Yeah.
at the lake, there's one like at Ridge Trail,
Oh, yeah, and the
Those are
trailhead
people that
parking
are out
lots.
using the
Trailhead
forest, too.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't remember if they're, if you put a piece of plastic over it, does it, the code still works?
I think it should, as long as it's.
Oh, we
doesn't,
can
like-
test it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if that size is too big, like if you're trying to fit it on a kiosk or somewhere else where there's a bunch of other flyers, let me know. I can print off smaller sizes too.
If we can get it in, like a sheet size, because we've got sheet protectors.
8.5 by 11, yeah,
Sheet protectors, then put it in a
That's
sheet
right.
protector and hang it.
as long as we test it first.
Test it to see if that works, yeah.
Okay.
So do all the rest of them and do another 20 in that size or something, the smaller? And then inside, like the school can have it big or wherever you can put it inside. And
Or
then,
if you update it on the, what do you call that, your Google Drive?
OneDrive, yep.
OneDrive. If it's updated on there, then we could print it. And
Okay. Yeah, I'll update it on there. I think I have to, I'm using Canva to make it, and I think I selected flyer size, so I'll just change the size of that, because I think if you printed it, it might get weird. But yeah, I'll change the
Distort,
size.
yeah.
I could have made it probably about to here, then I would have just had to center it. It wouldn't have gone edge to edge, so it would have been close. without skewing it.
But the sheep protectors should work perfectly, and then we can put them up at trailheads.
Yep. Silence that.
Okay, and then town meeting, it's May 2nd, so are you able to have like a big poster at town meeting? Because I could blow that up even bigger.
Well, I think what we talked about
Is
is,
having them available?
no, that at the end of the meeting, because we don't want people focused on their phones during the meeting, but at the end of the meeting, there's a time for announcements, or we can talk to the moderator, we can put it up on the screen,
Okay,
and that should work.
okay.
Or we could have a table outside of, after you get out of the auditorium, there's a table there to pick up a,
Yeah, we could, but
Plain
people
out.
usually blow out of there, so.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they'd be sitting there,
Right.
and then they could just pick up their phone and hit the QR code before they leave. I'll reach out to the moderator about that.
Okay, great.
Instead of a table, I would just, if we had small, maybe like 4 to a page, we had small ones with a QR code, and just to hand it out to people as they leave, because people just leave,
yeah.
except my mother, who talks to everybody,
Yeah,
but
that's where we catch up. It's the only place I see.
they just leave.
Does the town have a senior center? Okay, it'd be good to put one there as well, and maybe,
It's an adult
Adult center.
adult center.
recreation,
It is social center. Yeah.
adult social center.
Now that we're,
Maybe paper copies of the survey, so folks can take them home, fill them out, and we could put a location for a drop-off.
Can we put them in the post office?
I haven't before.
I don't think it's allowed.
Because it's federal? Okay.
Maybe put a poster up on the bulletin board outside.
They do have a monthly newsletter.
For the senior center.
The Adult Social
Okay.
Center has a monthly newsletter.
Plus get it in the newspapers.
Yeah, but we can put the code in the newsletter, maybe. Yeah, but we should, so, like the 15th, the end of the week is the deadline for the New Uxbridge Times. But that doesn't come out till May 1st.
Okay. Okay.
So we can, if you want me to do that, I can do that. I'll just lift some of the stuff from the intro here.
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
drive them to,
I can send out the image, the QR code image too, so you can add that different places.
oh, can you, or just post it in the drive and I can
Yep.
take it off of that? Okay.
And you're going to put it in the New Uxbridge Times?
Yeah, I'll do that in the Tribune.
Yep.
And
Can hit the Facebook pages, the different
Groups in town.
groups in town.
I don't do the Facebook page.
I can do that. Because I never tried posting a QR code on a Facebook page.
Should be just like a picture.
Yeah, should be able to.
Is it a
Okay.
JPEG?
Yeah, it's a JPEG.
Oh, that'll work then.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you're going to do Facebook?
I'll do the Facebook.
Okay. do the Tribune, the New Uxbridge Times, and the Express, whatever.
Oh, yeah, Blackstone Valley Express,
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. Gotcha.
I'd be glad to put the posters out, but I am leaving town tomorrow.
That's what you say every time.
I come back for the meetings.
No, we need a list first, so.
Well,
we got
you know,
most
I
of the
could
list.
just, the way I done many flyers in the past, I'll just smear everything and I'll write down where I put it.
Okay.
And if anyone comes up with more ideas, I'll write you where I put it.
Perfect.
Oh, main place. Main
Oh.
place.
Yeah.
Main place.
Wait,
We'll have-
we're forgetting the 23rd
I can do that one.
is, so Becky, I'm just going to skip here. The 23rd, are they having this cleanup day?
The concert.
Yes.
Is it at all a central location where we could give people the code, or?
I think
Fire
they're,
station.
the fire,
Yeah.
the highway department fire station
DPW.
up in there.
That's when they're meeting at,
Well, it's
no.
the central place. They'll have bags and stuff, and you
To
can
pick
bring
up.
all your trash there.
at what, 9 or something?
That's what I've heard.
Forgot the hours. I got the hours at home. I don't know if it's 9:30 till 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah, but, yeah.
is there a
that's-
way to use that event
Sure.
to promote this?
Why not?
So do we need like the quarter sheet then for that, or how are we going to make sure people walk away with it? Because if it's not like everybody come at 9 and disperse and they just trickle in and trickle out, that's,
I think they're going to be picking up the trash bags and everything else like that, and I think they're supposed to be bringing the trash back.
Yeah.
They're bringing it back to that same place. They're not leaving it on the roads or anything like that, so it's going to be, somebody's going to be bringing it back.
so what would be the best thing, a poster then? Or I'm trying to visualize how we could connect with them.
I would do a poster, and I would do some small ones. So if somebody wants to take a picture of the QR code, if they want to grab a quarter page, take a quarter page and make it into four little ones, they can grab that.
Can you,
Yep.
okay,
That's April 23rd?
just post it on.
okay.
Can you just make like a folder that's artwork or something like that? Call
Sure.
it? Yeah. Cool.
Yep. So you got the main place, KR.
Oh, main place, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's a good
she's
place.
going to do that.
Yeah.
Yep,
You're going to do that?
she's going to do
Okay.
that.
I'll knock it off.
Awesome. Is Uxel Cal open,
Yep.
the ice cream? I wonder if they'd let us put a poster up.
I can ask.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
While you're there.
Okay.
Ooh, opening day on Wallam is the 15th. Forget it. I'm
April
not going.
15th.
So the fun fact is Wallam Lake is a bi-state body of water, and the fishing is regulated by the state of Rhode Island.
Oh, weird.
Everybody in Massachusetts has to wait until the 15th of April to go down there in manic pandemonium.
Starts around 3 a.m.
God, a
here at my
minute.
house, yeah.
Any other comments or questions about survey outreach?
I think we did a good job
So I will,
covering it.
I'll update the survey, put out those additional images on it. I'll change the size too, so that you can either have it in the 11 by 17 or the 8 by, is that 11?
8 by 11, yeah, 8.5 by 11.
8.5 by 11.
Regular paper size, yeah.
Okay. And then I'll add those images, the QR code, all that to the OneDrive, and I'll create a spreadsheet so that we can fill out the different outreach locations, whether it's in person or virtual, and
Yep.
all those different formats as well. That way we can keep track and plug that into the final plan.
Good.
Okay.
Do you think if I get up back home on the 14th, that I put them out on the 15th, that's soon enough for everybody?
Yeah.
It's
I
a month-
think,
2 weeks before. If you go too early, sometimes it's too early, I don't know, but,
yeah.
We could do the trailheads too, right?
Do you have a feeling of how many responses are a good, like this town is what, between 8,000 and 9,000 people? How many responses is a good number for this survey?
So I get this a lot, and I've asked the state, how much is enough public outreach, and they're really reluctant to give an answer because each town is different size, they have different really engagement with their stuff. I think they're more concerned with how you advertise the survey and how accessible it is. So I think, having paper copies in different locations, having it, the online survey, you can scan the QR code, you're going to post the flyer, you're going to put it online, advertise it at a couple different events. I think that the outreach itself is the more important part. Obviously, we want the responses, we want that input and feedback to put into the plan. But I've seen it as low as, 90 responses and as high as, 400 or 500 responses. So I wouldn't worry too much about the amount and more just that we get it out, if we're posting it on social media or, we send it out a couple different times, we hit all those like hot spots of the town that folks go to a lot. I think that's the more important part that the state is going to be looking for.
So that brings my next question, and I forgot to look at this. What's our close date?
Yes, so I think we keep it open for, we'll open it hopefully this end of this week, early next week, keep it open for all of April, all of May. So we'll tentatively say we're going to close it at the end of May, but we can keep it open, if we feel like we only got 100 responses, we want to push it out again. I think that's fine, but we can have our tentative close date as May 31st or so.
June 1st, yeah.
Or June 1st, okay.
No, because otherwise people will be like, I'll do that tomorrow, and then you never do it. I'll never be that person, but.
it's very easily.
Sue's going to do it on the plane, she forgets to do it, then we have to chase her down.
As long as I bring my license this time.
You're kidding.
One thing I like to put in the survey too is if we do paper copies somewhere, where to drop them off. I don't know, is there a mailbox here that any of you would have
We could
access
set up a
to?
box right in the hall
Okay.
there that would,
Why don't we just ask them to use the Dropbox?
okay, outside.
Yeah, there's a Dropbox outside, and then whoever cleans that out, we can just tell them that they should, if they get open space surveys, open space plan surveys, they put it in the open space
It's
box.
any time of day, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's Lisa or somebody else, but, yeah, because then it's anytime.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments about the survey or the outreach? Okay, so then I would like to move into a sort of goals building exercise. So I did, in the Dropbox, there's some example goals from other towns, which you don't need to copy, you don't need to use, but just to give an idea of sort of what they can look like. But I'd like to sort of start fresh here and see, what you think the goal should be with this. I have 3 different questions. I'd like to go around and ask folks their opinion on it, and then I'll take that, try to form them into some draft goals that we'll work on a little bit more next time, or draft objectives for next time as well. So first question I have is, what comes to mind when you think of open space and recreation? I figure we go around. Brave volunteer to go first.
Places to play. no matter what your recreational use is, places to play, open space. To me, open space is like farmland. It's keeping the rural character of the town.
Yes.
Farmlands are,
Scenic views.
yeah, the old New England countryside, your stone walls,
Yep.
the fields,
Forest.
and the forest, yep.
Forest, yeah.
That's one of the reasons I moved out here, because I had easy access to trails, and there was dirt roads when I moved here. I don't think we have much of that anymore, but there were when I was here.
Orange Street.
I like seeing the farmland being farmed and not turned into developments.
Yeah. Is that accepted?
Sufficient space to maintain and support our native flora and fauna.
Okay, any other initial reactions when thinking about open space and recreation?
Guess ball fields and things like that. Kids, sports.
Kids have some place to go and play.
Yep.
They can play in
Play
the woods or play sports.
Hike and ride and all that good stuff.
Watch nature evolve.
Okay.
The critters going.
Okay, next question, biggest concerns about open space and recreation?
Development.
Habitat destruction.
Paving.
Paving. Do not want pavement.
What about
Yes.
access?
Access or protection of, whose job is it to keep it nice?
Right.
Yeah, development.
Maintenance, yeah.
Policing.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Policing, because it's just, before you know it, somebody's got
Trail
a
bikes and.
dump going, you know, and-
Right.
yeah.
Invasive species.
Well, maybe education and awareness, because people like to move out to the country and then,
Hate it.
no, but all you hear is leaf blowers, and it's us against nature.
And they move out to the country and they don't have any clue, because they're so far removed from their agricultural roots, that they start complaining about the farms and the animals and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and they just,
Yep.
they're, you know, this is the country. There's a reason why it's the country.
They fly around the roads like you're afraid to even walk on them anymore. I used to walk all the time on the roads. I mean,
ants.
Terrifying now.
it is terrifying now.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yep.
Education is,
Okay. Anything else to add with that? Okay, and now specific to the town, what do you appreciate or value about the open space and recreation here? And I think we sort of touched on it with the first question.
That it's there. It's a great place to play.
6,000 acres of state forest.
And it's open to so many different diverse groups.
Right. It's a big recreation for people from the city in the summer, the lake.
Yep.
Pushes out all the locals. We have it 8 months.
but it also supports the economy without having people actually live here full-time.
Right.
And need services. I mean, they need some EMS or whatever services, but they come, they spend their money at the ice cream shop, or they fill up their tanks, and there's a whole economic component that a lot of people in town
Yeah.
don't see. So,
Yeah, having a good trail system and open space recreation opportunities can be a really good tourist draw.
We found that through the last couple of years. The trailheads are packed now.
But also we have these, ultra marathons or.
Yep, a lot of groups use it.
And the mountain bikers and, yeah, but to get to the start line or the finish line, they usually have to spend some money here, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus the less residential, the fewer kids to educate, and the prices of taxes keep down.
Or another way to put it, open space saves the town money. That might be a better wording.
Yeah.
It's not a drain on, as much as a drain on the resources. And of course, keeping things open space, here, what's the buzz thing now with the climate resiliency?
We're already at 30% of our land protected.
Okay, any other comments about what you value or appreciate about the town's specific open space and recreation? Okay. Anything else to add that you'd want to build a goal around or an objective around? Like any specific properties of the town that you'd consider like the jewel of the town?
Oh, I just wanted to add, it's free. It's
Free.
basically free to anyone who wants to run you.
Free nature. Well, there's certain brooks and things like that that should probably be protected for the whole global warming kind of, look at it, places like that.
I'd have to look at the map. Wasn't there something about the Castle Caves,
Yeah, I think that was on our,
previous one?
yeah.
Yep. I'd have to look at the color-coded map of the town of Douglas to see what's protected and what isn't, and to see what the links could be.
Got my pencil one.
Well, there's awful lot of pressure now on the lakes, because if you look, people are clearing closer and closer to the shoreline, and then half of Manjog Pond is in Douglas, but you can't see it, and now the other side that's in Sutton, one of the campgrounds, I guess, is for sale, and then they're just turning them, all the shoreline into house lots, which is really impactful on just the health of the ponds themselves. So Wallam Lake is pretty much totally protected, except some on the Rhode Island side, and the backside is more protected, but everybody's just, they have to have a bigger place, and they have to cut down more trees, and that impacts your water quality. So, and then like the subdivision, Sutton Douglas subdivision, the encroaching on the river, I mean, that's really critical. So if we could get that, that would be great.
I always said that if I was president, I would make a command decision that there'd be no development within a half a mile of any body of water, including the ocean. That it would be just natural,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck. I'll vote.
Anything else?
I'm trying to, I have to go back and look at the one we did before and see, because I know Castle Caves was in there. Tinkerville Brook may have been in there, but I don't know how built out that is now. It's Hemlock Street.
Yeah, there's not much going on down there.
I don't know.
But yeah, Bating Brook is the one I was thinking of, by South Street. Because that feeds into Tinkerville, I think. Yeah, we're getting, I believe, a new Amazon warehouse thing going in East Douglas. I'm not sure, but some.
Oh, behind
some big-
Gilboa? It's a
some
ware, I
big-
don't know if it's Amazon, but it is a warehouse.
It's going to be a distribution, giant distribution warehouse
Yeah, on
going
the
in.
backside of Gilboa.
Yeah, between
Pond.
Gilboa and Hartford Ave.
Yep.
But the opening will be onto Gilboa, I think. They're building a bridge across the Mumford River there to accommodate.
But what,
Right near
so we
Shell
have,
Station
we have this,
on 146.
these solar, so-called farms, I can't use that word really, but
Yeah.
But they come in and it's also on open fields, or we've, in other
Matt
towns.
said it's an opening for a development after 25 years or whatever.
Yeah, or they clear cut forests, so over the line, they've put up huge number of arrays in pasture land, and so is there pasture, or, that's why the maps are great, because a lot of that is in chapter 61, which is, the beef, I have beef before the meeting, but who else, has significant acreage that we'd want to see protected?
Right.
The old Titopa Farms, that was, I think that's up for sale.
It's been sold.
Oh, it has been sold. That was,
Schwartz's property, that was mostly forested though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wet and forest, but.
Yeah, but some of that might be able
Yeah,
to still be
that's-
protected.
they can take it down, yeah.
But you're looking for more specifics, right? About acreage that we could add to this list?
Yeah, eventually. So right now, I just kind of wanted to get what your sense was of, what you define as open space and recreation, what you want to see protected or you're concerned about. And then the more specific parts, I think that'll sort of trickle down into our objectives and action items. So we won't develop those too much yet, especially the action items. Those will wait until after our survey closes and and until after we do our public forum or workshop, whatever additional outreach we do. But this will help sort of at least start forming, what are our main topic areas? What are we most concerned about with the town? And that'll help develop, what our open space plan is going to flow into.
I think that the solar is a good idea to make, we should target fields before the solar people do.
Any other last minute comments?
So as part of the goals, I guess what happens is that we have a wish list, or and so I'd like to see, I guess, a mission statement or something that says the goal of the town through its open space and recreation commission, its conservation commission has X, Y, and Z as a goal moving forward, because it's like,
It's getting too broad.
yeah, it's just, everything's thrown up in the air, and then everybody's just scrambling, but where does it all lead to? And then, especially folding in climate, does this help our resiliency? Does this help us get a grant towards that? All that bundled together. But we need to say, this is our purpose.
Okay, so what I'm going to do between now and our next meeting is take all of this information and try to see if I can find like 4 to 6 goals that we could fit some of these topic areas under. And then next time, which we'll get to a little bit later, we'll start really finalizing what those goals are, and then putting some objectives underneath those goals. So I think we talked about the first meeting, so sort of the point of this is we're coming up with a 7-year action plan that the town will take up, either by your guidance or someone else's guidance in the town. And so that action plan, it's got, again, a set of 6 to 4 goals. We can have more, we can have less. I wouldn't have less than 4 or 3. We'll talk about that. But I think we have a lot of ideas here that we can have that many goals. Under each of those goals, we get a little bit more specific and have those objective items. So a little bit more targeted. And then under that, we've got action items that'll help us accomplish those objectives and thus accomplish that goal, or at least work towards that goal. So for next meeting, like I said, we're going to sort of define our goals a little bit more, try to make them more concrete, and then start developing what our objectives are underneath that. And this will change a little bit too, depending on the response we get from our survey. We want to at least be in line with what the residents and stakeholders are thinking, but it's good to at least have a draft, and then we can adjust as needed. Okay, any other questions on that? All right, so then the next thing that I had, or the last thing I had, was the board and committee letter to review. So this is something I like to send to other boards that aren't represented here. I didn't print that one off just because I'd like to have it in a better format before we put it in folks' mailboxes or whatever. But I'll just run through quickly what those questions are. If we like them, great. If you want to change them, add anything, that's fine too. And this is all in that OneDrive folder too, so you can check it out later. First question I have is what pressures are being put on the town's open space, recreation, natural, historical, and cultural resources? Do we like that question? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I say if there's any objections, just feel free to stop me, but I'll just keep reading through in the interest of time. Are there any future development projects on the horizon that could have impacts, either positive or negative, on these resources in town? Are there adequate recreation opportunities in town? Are there adequate opportunities for all demographics or underserved populations? Youth, elderly, minority populations, disabled persons, etc.
Veterans. Yeah.
Veterans, okay. And then sort of a sub-question, if not, where's the town lacking? Are the town's open space and recreational resources well advertised and utilized? Are the town's historical and cultural resources well protected?
Okay, wait. We have to define well protected,
Okay.
because you ask anybody, oh yeah, that's fine, and it's going to be demoed 2 days later. We need to define what does well protected mean. So is it, I don't know, does it have a conservation or historic preservation restriction on it? I'm just throwing this out. I don't know how to define it myself, but
Sure.
But I feel like that question is just a yes or no, and we need to
Do we have a demolition bylaw? Demolition?
I don't know.
Whether that went in or not.
But how would we define well protected?
Mass Historical Society or something?
Good point. Someone could see something, a trail, a piece of property, and everyone's been using it, and find out someone else owns it, and it's a de facto trail, and it's not protected.
It has legal protection, as a deed or a restriction, like you said, has to have something exact, not just well protected. It has to state what that protection is.
Right.
Okay.
Because like the Jank store has it, I think it's on the National Register of Historic Places or whatever. But there could, well, the place on the other side of the church, they just, that's a really old place, but they just remodeled it and everything. But they could have torn it down.
So what would be stopping that from happening? And what about the historic district? Did that ever, the historic
Yeah, it
commission?
hasn't finished that. They haven't determined that as a historic district yet. The one up at the Common is regular Douglas.
Okay, so
Douglas is not.
that's a great example of something that needs to be completed, because if there are historic buildings in the downtown, it should be, it's a historic district, but I know you did a lot of work on that, and so why hasn't it been finished? So why hasn't, and is that one of our goals? But also trails, like Gordon said, and how do we define well-protected so that they're not just saying, oh, yeah, that's fine?
I think for me, I sort of define it in layers. So like that legal protection is probably like your most protected. It's protected itself from future development or adverse impacts. But then outside of it, is it impacted by development that's not on that property or on that, if it's, a historical statue or anything like that itself might be protected. But what about the development that could happen in the buffer zone around it? So is it protected from that, or is it already facing some sort of negative impact? Wetlands and close by development, you're not developing in the wetland, but it's, in the
runoff.
buffer zone, whatever. So I think those are the two sort of layers that I see it as.
But if you can figure out wording
Yeah.
or that somebody else has already used to say, okay, or if somebody donates property to the town, is it under Chapter 97, or is it just a piece of open space that can then someday be a school site? And do we need to go through and, I guess, look at those properties and say, all right, is this actually protected for conservation?
So what are the legal ways to protect? If we list out all those legal ways, then one of the property has to meet one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Is there a flow chart that says these are protected?
Okay, so yeah, I think that's a good point to put that in our letter of how we're defining well-protected, and in our plan as well, because I think we'll probably bring that up a lot in at least our actions. Okay, so sort of ignore the well-protected part for now, but are the town's historical and cultural resources well-protected, and if not, which should be protected better and how? Are the town's historical and cultural resources well-known and advertised? Are the town's environmental and natural resources well-protected? Are there any policies or programs that the town should implement to better protect its natural, environmental, historical, cultural, or recreational resources?
What do you recommend? Because that's another yes or no. So we need to phrase it, so how would you, or something like that.
Yeah, there's a sub-question there that if yes, what are they, and
Yes,
how will it
okay.
help protect those resources? And then the last question I have is your board or committee currently working on projects to improve these areas? So again, open space, recreation, natural, historical, and/or cultural resources, or do you have plans to improve the quality of and access to these resources in the future? Anything we missed, anything we want to change? Okay, all right, so I will, I'll make those changes, and I'll add in that sort of how we're defining what well-protected means to our committee. And then I figured we could print them out and put them in mailboxes, or we could email them out. I don't know what would make the most sense.
Maybe both.
Both.
I don't know how often people check the boxes, so both probably.
And please return by.
So other than that, I figured we could talk about some upcoming actions for next meeting. So hopefully, I don't make the maps for CMRPC, so we sort of have to wait. We're in the queue for the maps. So hopefully those will be ready next time, and if they are, we can do a mapping exercise. I'd especially like us to look at the unique and scenic features map so we can label, some of the highlights of the town that we want to have mapped on there. We can look at the different open spaces, make sure that seems accurate.
Do they include natural heritage and endangered species habitat?
Unique, so our habitat map should have any or rare land or anything like that, core habitats. The unique features map will have like red dots for any historical areas in town or anything like that, but we like to highlight specific locations, so there'll be like dots on the map, but they won't necessarily be labeled, so if we can label some of those, if we've missed anything, if there's a certain area of town that we want to highlight as a feature, any scenic views, anything like that, we'll want to mark down, just so that we have it. We can, like I said, all those like national historic places, they're going to be marked by like a red dot on the map. But usually there's too many of them to have labels for, so we like to call some out specifically. So like I said, hopefully we can have those maps. I'll print some off, and then we can sort of go through and do our mapping exercise. In addition, we'll continue our goals discussion and move into some objectives. Depending on, where we're at with our survey results, we can sort of check in on that and see, just initial responses, if there's sort of trending in any sort of direction. I'll at least give an update on how many responses we've received. And then I figured we could talk more about what our ADA self-assessment is going to look like. I did drop in a PDF of what the ADA self-assessment.
I have the list of town properties.
Okay, awesome. So I dropped in a PDF of what the ADA self-assessment entails, so we can run through that and then run through what properties that's going to need to be on. So it's only conservation, only town-owned conservation and restriction lands. So you don't have to do it on, if there's any land trusts or private properties. It's just town-owned conservation and restriction, conservation and recreation lands. And so
no buildings or any?
No buildings. We don't have to do any of that. So we'll get more into that, and then once I have that maps list as well, or the maps ready to go, I usually get an Excel spreadsheet of the different conservation lands in town, so we can compare that list and make sure we got everything covered. All right, any questions?
Not right now.
Okay. We're going to talk next meeting date.
Yeah, I was just looking at the 3 weeks again.
Sure.
Well, I just want to, so 3 weeks puts us a week before town meeting. So would it be more productive to meet after town meeting? Because then we'd see more results, maybe? I don't.
That's fine. I'm not going away again.
Either option's fine with me.
So what's the next, is Tuesday,
It would be Tuesday the 3rd.
May
Okay.
Can't make that one, but
3rd of the, well,
I can catch
I
up.
can adjust. I'm available any day.
no, but what do other people think? I'm just offering that if it was after town meeting, we'd be able to see if there was an uptick or.
It's only one day after the meeting,
Right.
though, so.
Yeah,
No, but-
I don't think it's going to
Push it a little further.
make a difference. So what's 3 weeks, April 26th?
Yes.
Yep.
So I am out of town on April 26th, but I could do that Wednesday, April 27th. Or if you wanted to push it an extra week, that's fine with me too.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
I'd rather keep us
27?
rolling.
I can do 27.
When?
April 27th, do we like this time, 1 o'clock? Yep. Yep, that's okay.
Do you want me to sign a letter from the board, or?
Sure, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll draft that letter and I'll send it out. And then I don't know if you've got letterhead or if you want to sign it, we can add that into it. And then, yeah, if you can print it and sign it and then maybe scan that and we can email it out.
If you need help, I'll help you.
I'll come over.
Or, you know, if you have a picture of your signature, I can just put it in.
Don't make it more complicated.
I'll give you a picture of my signature. Yeah.
I'll have you sign the stuff that you don't even know about.
Not the first time, probably.
Okay. Okay, great. Any other questions for me?
It's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to go into the next? Duval Road, 55 acres for open space and trails. I guess that was kind of covered earlier where,
Yeah, Matt answered our questions, so.
yeah. Hopefully get over there for a walk and,
Assuming we get permission. I'm okay with that.
I'd like to do that too. The walk.
the walk. After we get permission.
Yeah.
So they have a website we can,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is true.
I'll contact them.
No, Matt said he was going.
Oh,
Well, it's Sutton Douglas.
Development. No, there's a
development.
development there, Sutton Douglas Development.
Somewhere.
I just saw it last night too, but it was long. So, thank you, Danny.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job.
You all make it easier for me, so.
Well, we should have a field trip.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea. Get some pictures for the open space plan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Won't be in here.
Thank you.
Take
Black-
care.
Black flies will be out.
yeah,
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
yeah. We like them out in the country.
Protein.
Yeah. All right, so the Oak Street 61A property, do we want to vote to,
Okay, hold on.
yeah, not to,
Hold on. Number one, has everybody seen that letter?
no.
Okay. Number two, sorry,
No?
I'm in a butter, I have to recuse myself. My beef with this situation is that that is not a bona fide offer to the town, and that there's no price associated with the property being offered. So my problem here is that this sets a precedent that this is, oh, we're just asking about it. It's like, no, this is a specific process that's been set up by the state because the owner gets tax protection, a tax relief to keep it open space. My other problem is that there has been advanced negotiations with the town over pilot, which is payment in lieu of taxes, and the property owner, I believe, has already signed a lease. This is a change of use, which triggers the option for the town. But that package is usually with a price tag. Because am I going to look at an acre at $2 million? Or am I going to look at an acre at $500? There's a huge difference there. So I want to be clear to everybody here that my beef is with the process And we saw another recent, next AMP, I think it is, on West Street, did the same sort of situation, that it was, the project was about to be signed off, when all of a sudden somebody realized that this was in chapter, and it should have been taken out of chapter, offered to the town, and the process should have been adhered to. So that is my problem.
I'm confused. If you come out of chapter, don't you have to pay taxes on it? Pay back taxes?
That's another good question. This is a change of use. It's being as used now, requested to be used as a quasi-utility. You have to pay back taxes, you have to offer it to the town at a price. So I feel that that letter,
Doesn't cover.
no, it's not a, when a owner asks to take their property out of chapter or to change the use, it comes with a letter that says, I've received a purchase and sale for this amount for this property. Does the town want to match this? The town's saying, oh, it's just a lease agreement and blah, 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 blah. So I don't know if I have to write a letter to town council or to the selectmen or what, but I don't want it to be this committee's beef if we're only being asked, which is totally unclear to me, that are we interested or are we not interested in the property? So I want the minutes to show that I recuse myself for whatever actions you might take. See you again on the 27th.
Okay.
Have a great time.
Okay. Do we want to make copies of that letter for
Okay.
everyone in here so we can at least have that? I'm kind of curious. That's on.
Sounds like they're doing everything backwards, like getting all the plans in place and then talking to the town.
Okay. 23 minutes.
Just heard that a good friend just passed away.
Sorry.
Oh. Let's see, 20. Getting the water at the barn.
What
Yeah.
happened?
I think when the well is overheating, it shuts itself down. The well pump will need to be replaced. That's what I thought. It's old, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alrighty. Otherwise, we'll have to replace it tomorrow. We'd have to go back to look at other letters that were submitted for Chapter 61A removal and what was included in that package.
Right.
And
It was an offer, the price.
Yeah, that's what I thought I remembered
Yeah.
seeing. So,
Even though it's just a lease, it still should have something.
yes.
Right. So she's not really selling the land.
Right.
So it's,
But if she's leasing it, she's still getting an amount for the lease.
Right.
And how long is the lease for?
I think it says 20 years,
So if it's,
Yeah.
including options to
Including
extend them.
options for extending.
yep. So whatever's being paid, if it's monthly or whatever, for 20 years, that's going to be basically what the price of the land is. So we need further,
Well, she should be paying us the back taxes. And then leasing the land to them.
yes, but for us to make a decision one way or the other, we don't have enough information on this, packet, so.
But she is asking for the town's right of first refusal.
But the town doesn't have enough information on,
Doesn't have enough.
what's right of first refusal.
Means we don't want to buy it.
But we don't know
Right,
what
but
she's
if we
selling it.
do
Dollars that
want
they're
to,
selling it for.
if we do want to buy it,
First acceptance.
or do we want to lease it? I don't know.
But she has no price.
Right.
So how would we say
How
we
can it
want
be
to
a
buy
right of
it?
first refusal?
Yeah. Well, let's see.
31 acres.
I get so sad when they tear down woods to build solar. We
I
should be
know,
putting
it's
solar
so
in every
bad.
building in town.
I went to a meeting with these guys.
Like, how does that make
Way
sense?
back, and they were talking about how they were experimenting with raising it up and growing things underneath and
I've
things
heard all
like
that too.
But-
There's so much more infrastructure
Right.
that could be used for solar without
Yeah,
cutting
right.
down trees.
What sense does it make
Well,
to
this
cut
is an
down
existing
nature
field.
to put?
This is an empty field.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
It's an
but still.
existing field that they want to actually keep
But it's good fertile land.
as a field and still farm it with the way they're setting up the solar panels with the spacing and whatnot for actually, for tractor equipment to get in and in around it.
It was-
So they're combining it to make it doable, which I'm kind of okay with that, but
Depending on its
I'm not.
success.
31 acres, geez. It's a lot of solar panels.
Yeah.
maybe, we have town council, don't we? So maybe an email to the town council about this, that there's not enough.
Well, that's what Lisa said, if she has to write to town council.
Yeah.
So it's something we don't feel that is a viable question to us to
Right.
process because it doesn't have the information necessary to do this whole.
If we have the right of first refusal, what's the price? What's the price we're paying if we want it?
Right.
Yeah, what is our option?
So without the proper information, then we do not feel we're equipped to vote on
Right, we
something
can't
that
make a
isn't
decision on
presented
it.
correctly.
And the town shouldn't either, you know?
And we recommend that the Board of Selectmen
Follow up with town council?
follow up with town council and
In the process.
present it properly, untangle it from the lease and all that stuff.
I think Matt was saying,
He doesn't care about the money. They don't care about the money.
yeah, he just wanted to know if we
Thought it
were,
was a nice piece of property.
Interested.
And we do. It's a nice piece of property.
Any big field's a nice piece of property.
Right.
Here's Oak Street, I'm trying to picture. On the side.
It's just, you know,
Joanne
right.
Pottles, you know where Joanne Pottles
Yeah.
lives? You know where the barn is?
Yep.
So if you took a
Northwest
left, you go
Mendoza.
up towards Whittier's, so if you went straight across, that's Oak Street, right? Yeah,
Okay.
straight
I was
across.
thinking that was Birch or something like that. but-
No, that's farther down the lake.
Further down.
Yeah,
So you got
it's on the
Bobby
right.
Peters on the side.
It's a brown house on the right at the very end.
We talked about this once before, haven't we, in this committee? I think I went out and
Yeah.
looked at it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is nice.
yeah. Yeah, and it's, you know, it's on a hill, it's above Stevens Pond and Manchog Pond, everything drains off to those locations, so. Yeah.
Well, 31, if it's 31 acres, wouldn't that be a nice recreation area for the town?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Depends on what the price is.
yeah. Is it landlocked? Yeah.
Well, it's up to...
Yeah, no, they have to get in there somehow for the solar people, so she's left that far side open thing for access.
Yep, yeah, there's access from the, off of Oak Street up to it, so...
So I think we should vote to not, to have the town pursue the proper way to present
Because we might be
this.
interested if it's the right price, but we don't know what the price is.
And when we know the price, we'll vote on it. Something like that.
Okay, wait a minute. So there's not information, no purchase or sales, or what land is worth for town to consider.
Right.
It looks like it would be a nice piece of property for the town. So that covers, we've got some interest in it.
I mean, we do have a lot of land here and there that 31 acres is not a whole, but it's not in this recreation-starved area of town, like downtown.
No, let's see, how close is it to the state forest? Would there be a good place for parking? But
We could definitely use more parking on that side.
okay, we'll look on the map. Not enough information. Okay, no information for purchase and sales included or what land is worth to the town to consider if we would like to consider it. It looks like a nice piece of land for the town for recreational use. We need more information to vote. Does that sum up
Yep.
our position?
And, you know, have the whole process of presentation reviewed and corrected.
Have it go through the actual process.
By doing that, it would clarify.
Okay, there's not enough information on, I have to fill this, not enough information included.
For us to take an opinion.
Not enough information included with request. Request, no purchase and sales or what land is worth for town to consider. It looks like a nice piece of land for the town for recreational use. We need more information to make a vote. It needs to go through the process for clarification. Please have town council review. Does that sound like what we need in a letter to send to the selectmen? Because I think we need to send the selectmen something.
Can't make a decision with no price.
Okay, so
We say, yeah, we think it's a great piece of property. And they say, good, $5 million. That's we're going to be like, no, 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 no.
I entertain a motion.
I move that we do what you said.
I'll second it. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sue seconded. All in favor. I can write this up, send it to you, and you can sign it and send it on its merry way. How's that?
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Anything else? No new business? Got enough business? All right. I
The,
move
I need some, the April 23rd cleanup, that thing that they've got posted on Facebook. They said technically it's kind of like for the whole month of April that they want to do.
Right.
So-
But officially, on that date, they'll
Wow,
have
good.
presence at the town
So
site.
what I want to know is, what can we do? So I'm tied up April 23rd with a trail work day in Douglas State Forest, but I do want to do cleaning up some of the streets. So how is that going to be handled? There's nothing in there, and I don't know. Can we pick up bags, drop them off up there anytime during April?
The
That's
dump off, yeah.
what I need to know. That's what I would like to know, my thoughts. So,
You can bring it to my place. I have
Trash measure?
a sticker for the
Oh.
transfers. Yeah.
I've got a sticker for the transfer
too.
station,
Well,
too.
then just bring it
I don't know if they
to
just want to, sometimes when you collect that amount of trash, if you take pictures of it, it's an impact of like,
Yeah.
listen, guys, you really need to stop littering in town
Yeah.
here, because look at,
I volunteered to do North Street from Gilboa to Sutton Line. That's one I've done before.
We did, the last one we did, I had a black pile of nip bottles to disconnect the rings from, so we could recycle them, like,
oh my God,
I got
God
a
bless
picture
you.
of that.
The last
on a
time I
tarp in
did
my
North Street, I picked up 150 nip bottles.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
same ones, same
Yep.
type, yeah. To find out where that guy buys. Yeah,
Okay.
so, yeah. I'll email the guy, Matt, someone on conservation that's doing this. I gave him the full flyers that we had, and see
Ask
what...
about that, just out of curiosity, because
Yeah, what's...
if I'm asking about it, there's going to be other people that might be in the same boat that
Yeah.
would like to,
Yeah.
do a street or something like that during the month of April to get it done. And like, how's that going to work?
And how do you know which ones have been done?
Yeah.
True,
How to
drive by and look.
Yeah.
Looks good, where else at?
Get out with your bag and you're like, nothing.
All right, I will email them and ask
Yeah,
them to get
we
back
just-
to us on how to follow up on that, and let everybody know.
Great.
And I guess if you make, I'd rather come and pick that up and sign it, that you're going to write out, because I can't do it on the computer, but the letter. And if you made me smaller ones of that, print them out, I could do that, or I could...
Of this, of the flyer?
Yeah,
Oh, all right, yeah, as soon as she gets the,
yeah. Again, I guess
I'd have to
leaving
play with
tomorrow,
that.
so we'll see how fast she moves.
okay.
But
Oh, so you want this, I can do this today for you?
And-
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, not going to have, of course, a few of them or whatever that I can start putting out
Yep,
before.
okay.
Take some of those, too.
Yeah, and the one's good. You can take those if you want. So she's going to go home, hopefully today she's updating it, right? So like
Yeah.
tomorrow
See
that
where
will be
she's gonna-
open, I hope.
See where she's going to have them, But I could pick them up in Auburn, too, at her house or whatever.
Well, no, I meant the survey, because we made some corrections to the survey today,
Right, so this can't go out until after that.
till we know that it's ready to go.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask, is she going to let us know when she's made all the updates so that we
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll have to ask her.
Yeah.
Ask her in like 1 day, 2 days, 1 day, tomorrow. Is it done? Is it done?
I can just email her saying, so just to be clear, you're going to let us know when the survey's live so we can start hanging things.
That's putting it nicely.
I'll do that.
Maybe a week is good enough. I'll be back in a week.
Well, even if it's a couple, 3 days,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
get going. We'll say something.
yeah.
Don't worry, you'll
Oh,
have
yeah.
plenty to do when you get back.
All right. No more new? Okay.
Nope, I didn't have anything new, so.
I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Wait.
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're ending the meeting at 2:44.